This morning I woke up to a new version of Procreate, Procreate 4.3. Let's take a look. Right when you open Procreate, you notice a new welcome screen. So let's see what's new. Text. Add gorgeous typography. We're going to get to this in a little bit. So helpful when you're trying to make comics. Next up, import fonts. Very important when you're trying to work with text. Moving on. Share layers. We're not going to get into this too deeply on this video. I will say, let's just try to find out why we would need to share layers. My first guess would be, let's say you did a bunch of drawings on a bunch of different layers and you want to play with them in After Effects. That's a really good excuse. But then again, you can export a PSD. I guess this would save a step. Moving on. Finer control. This is really cool. We're going to take a look at that in a little second. Start using Procreate. Yes, please. I created a layout for my comics, and before what I would have to do is do all the drawing and inking and coloring in Procreate, then export that out to Photoshop to do the text, to do all the finalized things, and then I would post that to the internet. Well, now I don't have to do that anymore. Now I can come up to the wrench, tap the Add button, and come down to where it says Add Text. And here's our text. We're able to say what we want. And if you notice, this box has these two little handles, these little blue handles. If you tap and drag, you're able to resize that box. Let's select all. And I'm going to tap this button that says Edit Style. And here are all of these wonderful fonts that are available. I really like Bada Boom. But the one that I use for my words is Digital Strip. And you can do regular, italic, or bold italic. Let's stay with regular. You can change the size and the kerning. And again, 2-finger tap to undo. The tracking, leading, baseline, and the opacity. Very cool. But let's say that that's not the font that I need. And if I scroll through these fonts, the font that I'm looking for isn't there. What we can do is hit Import Font, and it brings us to the Files application on the iPad. Now I will say this, if you have Google Drive, it's not as straightforward as you would think. So if I go into Bada Boom, you see that the font is not there and there's no way for me to download it or anything. So what I ended up doing was going to Dropbox and creating a folder in Dropbox, Robots and Aliens fonts. And I have all these other ones already installed, but I wanted to get the Skater Girls Rock. So I'm going to click on that, download it, and it's imported. And now if we scroll over here, Skater Girls Rock, and again, we can resize everything. Hit done. If I get the arrow tool, I can move everything else around. I can even grab these handles and resize it, resize the text with these handles. And if we go to the layers menu, we see that there's this A, and that's letting us know that that's a text layer. You can rasterize that, but I'm going to leave that there. So let's say that we're messing around, and then I decided that I needed to change whatever that word or that sentence was. I'm going to make sure that that layer is selected in the Layers panel. And I think that everything around here is kind of distracting. So I'm going to tap and hold the check mark, and you see everything else disappears. Tap and hold again, it all comes back. tap and hold. Make sure that Say What We Want layer is selected, and now when I tap, I'm able to come in here and I'm going to hit the keyboard. There we go. And again, if I wanted to change the font, I click on Edit Style, and I'm able to edit the font style. Now let's turn everything else back on. And now I think to myself, man, I really wish I could change that font color to maybe a red. But if I have this font layer selected and I click on the color changer and I change it to red, we see that nothing happens. Well, that's because we need to have that layer selected, and then we go back into that font menu. And now that that's active and we see the box around the words, now we can come up to the color and change it that way. I'm going to click done. And as always, when I get done inking, coloring, and refining this comic, what I do is hit the wrench, share, and probably save it as a JPEG, save image, and now that's ready to be loaded on the internet. And just to let you guys see what it's like to share layers, what you would do is go to the wrench, share, and share layers as a PDF. We're going to not do that. A PNG files, or animated GIF. And we'll be talking about animated GIF in a later video. Now let's take a look at some new layer styles. To get into the different layer styles, what I'm going to do is tap on that little letter that's to the right of the layer. That little M stands for multiply, so if I tap on linear burn, that changes to LB. But all of these we've had all along. If I tap on contrast, we see that within contrast we have new layer styles. And it's just as simple as tapping soft light, vivid light. That looks pretty cool.
So what do you guys think about the updates? Do you think this is a valid solution for comic artists, or even kids book illustrators, or even animators for that matter? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, do that thing that you do. Like, share, subscribe. Share this video with people that you think would learn something from it. All right, that's it for me. See you on the next one.